In boxing, there are moments that transcend the sport itself. Moments when talent, preparation, pride, and destiny collide under bright lights. One of those moments arrived when Naoya Inoue, the monster from Japan, faced Stephen Fulton, the undefeated American champion who believed he would expose the myth surrounding one of boxing's most feared punchers. It was a meeting of styles, nations, and mindsets, and it would end in a way few saw coming. Before the opening bell, the tension was already building. Stephen Fulton, confident and outspoken, was certain he would teach the Japanese star a lesson. "I refuse to let my fighter get in the ring with someone who's got loaded gloves," Fulton declared publicly, claiming to have proof on his phone of wrongdoing. The word stung, setting fire to the anticipation that surrounded this fight. Inoue, calm as ever, didn't respond with trash talk. He had heard it all before. For him, everything would be settled inside the ring. Fulton was favored by many. The betting odds, the analysts, and the American media believed that the slick, fast, defensive boxer from Philadelphia had too much skill and size for the shorter man from Japan. Fulton saw Inoue as an overrated phenomenon. "He's too small for me, too short," Fulton said. "The hype around him is because he's Japanese. That's all." The room filled with laughter and applause. To many, this seemed like the next chapter in a long tradition. The American champion traveling abroad to quiet the noise around an overseas hero. But Naoya Inoue wasn't just a hero. He was already a legend in Japan, a three-division world champion known for his surgical precision and devastating knockout power. Nicknamed the Monster for a reason, Inoue had just dismantled Paul Butler to become the undisputed bantamweight champion. The right hands that ended that fight were brutal, clean, and clinical. His reign at 118 pounds was absolute. Yet, true greatness demands risk, and Inoue decided to chase history once again. To prove his dominance extended beyond a single division, he vacated all his belts and moved up to super bantamweight, where Stephen Fulton awaited. Fulton, where was no pushover. A master technician, he had earned his place at the top through grit and skill. His wars with Angelo Leo and Brandon Figueroa showed that he could box, brawl, and adapt. He captured the WBO title in a brutal 12-round war and then unified it with the WBC belt, surviving relentless pressure and coming out victorious. He was, by all accounts, the best at 122 pounds. He was the man. But Naoya Inoue was the monster coming to take everything. Their paths were set on a collision course. As the fight approached, the press conferences turned tense. Fulton's camp accused Inoue's of unfair practices, while Inoue's team remained silent, focused, and respectful. The difference in energy was striking, one side noisy and emotional, the other calm and lethal. When Fight Week arrived in Tokyo, the atmosphere was electric. Fans lined the streets, hoping for a glimpse of their national icon. For Japan, this wasn't just a fight, it was a moment of national pride. Inoue's journey to this night had been extraordinary. He'd faced world champions and beaten them with frightening ease. His U.S. debut against Jason Maloney was a demolition job. His rematch with Nonito Donaire, a living legend, ended in 2 brutal rounds, a display of precision and timing that left even critics speechless. Each fight built his mystique. His punches carried a kind of power that defied logic for his size. And yet, behind the destruction lay an intelligent, disciplined craftsman. Fulton, meanwhile, trained with purpose. He believed he'd seen fighters like Inoue before, powerful punchers who couldn't deal with slick movement and elite defense. He saw himself as the antidote. In interviews, he insisted, "I see myself wiping him out clean. He's too small, too short. He hasn't fought someone like me." To his fans, it was confidence. To Inoue's, it was arrogance. To the world, it was theater, the calm before the storm. When fight night arrived, Tokyo's Ariake Arena was a cathedral of silence and expectation. The crowd, polite and disciplined, carried an energy that pulsed beneath the surface. As the lights dimmed and the fighters made their way to the ring, you could almost feel the weight of history pressing down. For Inoue, this was about legacy. For Fulton, it was about validation. The opening bell rang. Both men started cautiously, each trying to read the other. Fulton, taller and longer, sought to establish his jab and control the distance. But Inoue's jab, often overlooked, was sharp, quick, and punishing. He used it like a weapon, stabbing at Fulton's body, forcing him to react. Inoue's timing was immaculate. He didn't rush. He observed, analyzed, and struck with precision. Fulton, known for his composure, looked surprised. The smaller man was not only matching him technically but also beating him to the punch. As the first few rounds unfolded, it became clear that Inoue was dictating the rhythm. He wasn't just relying on power. He was outboxing the boxer. His jab was landing clean, his footwork cutting off Fulton's escape routes. Fulton tried to stay on his bike, using lateral movement, but Inoue's ring IQ was suffocating. Every step Fulton took, Inoue anticipated. The Japanese star controlled distance with micro-adjustments, closing the gap in ways that seemed effortless. In the second round, Inoue began mixing levels, jabbing to the body, then snapping the jab upstairs. Each strike had purpose, setting traps. Fulton's nose started to bleed, a sign that the monster's precision was taking its toll. Fulton tried to answer with quick counters, but his punches lacked the snap. He couldn't find his rhythm. Whenever he threw, Inoue was gone, or worse, already throwing something back. Commentators noted the difference in tempo. "We talked all night about Fulton's jab," one analyst said, "but what about Inoue's?" The answer was clear. Inoue's jab was dictating the fight, and it was only a matter of time before something big landed. Fulton, known for his calm under pressure, began to look unsettled. His defense, usually tight, was starting to fray. By the third round, Inoue's confidence was visible. He was walking Fulton down, doubling his jab, and firing crisp right hands to the body. Fulton's counterpunches glanced off gloves and shoulders. Inoue's defense was underrated: subtle slips, quick pivots, and perfect distance. Fulton's corner urged him to be more active, to fight behind his jab, but the speed coming at him was on another level. "It's the speed that's the problem," a commentator observed. "You can't replicate this in sparring." Round 4 saw Fulton try to turn the tide. He pressed forward, landing a few right hands, his best moments of the fight. But Inoue responded with a blistering 4-punch combination that stopped Fulton in his tracks. The power difference was obvious. Every Inoue shot carried authority. Even when Fulton blocked, the impact reverberated through his guard. The monster wasn't just fighting to win rounds, he was breaking his opponent down systematically. As the rounds went on, Inoue's dominance became undeniable. His jab continued to land at will. He was faster, sharper, and more composed. Fulton's attempts to re-establish control were met with precise counters. The American champion found himself trapped in a cycle: move, get cornered, defend, absorb damage. Inoue's combinations flowed effortlessly, mixing speed and power with machine-like efficiency. By the 5th round, Fulton's face told the story. Swelling, blood, and frustration. "He's not using his footwork," one analyst said. "And you want to know why? Because Inoue has stopped that. He's cut the ring off perfectly." Indeed, every time Fulton tried to circle out, Inoue met him with a jab or a body shot. The Japanese fighter was operating at a level that few could match. Even when Fulton landed clean, Inoue didn't flinch. His balance, his poise, his relentless forward pressure, all textbook perfection. Round 6 was a masterclass. Inoue's timing reached its peak. He downloaded every pattern, every habit. Fulton was trapped in front of him, unsure how to reset. Inoue ripped to the body, then came upstairs with short hooks and straight rights. Fulton's legs betrayed him for a moment. The crowd, usually reserved, gasped collectively. The monster smelled blood. His jab now wasn't just a setup, it was punishment. Every time it landed, it snapped Fulton's head back. Inoue's accuracy was terrifying. He was hitting Fulton cleanly, repeatedly, without missing. The American tried to clinch to slow the pace, but Inoue's strength on the inside surprised him. Even in close quarters, Inoue found angles for uppercuts and short hooks. The ring was shrinking for Fulton. Every escape route led to more punishment. Then came round 7, the moment that defined the fight. Fulton, desperate, tried to rally. He threw a series of right hands, hoping to catch Inoue off guard. But Inoue's defense was tight, his focus unbreakable. Then it happened. A lightning-fast right hand from Inoue, short and compact, landed flush on Fulton's jaw. Fulton's legs buckled instantly. He collapsed backward, crashing to the canvas. The crowd erupted, breaking their polite restraint. Fulton tried to rise, but his body betrayed him. He staggered, eyes glazed, as the referee counted. Somehow, he beat the count, but the end was inevitable. Inoue pounced like a predator. Another barrage, a left hook, right hand, left to the body, and a final right upstairs, sent Fulton reeling into the corner. The referee had seen enough. He jumped in, waving it off. The monster had done it again. A 4-division world champion, undefeated, unstoppable, undeniable. As the crowd stood in awe, Inoue raised his gloves, expression calm and humble. For him, it was never about trash talk or theatrics. It was about mastery, the art of boxing executed at the highest level. The respect from the audience was overwhelming. In Japan, even in moments of chaos, there is reverence for excellence. They understood what they had just witnessed, not just victory, but history. Fulton, dazed but dignified, later admitted, "It just felt like pressure, but it was that shot I didn't see that did the job." He's a good fighter, though. It was a statement of respect, stripped of bravado. Inoue had earned it. Analysts around the world were unanimous. What Inoue had accomplished was extraordinary. Moving up in weight to challenge an undefeated unified champion, and then dismantling him with such ease, was something reserved for generational talents. The debate was no longer whether Inoue was great, but how great. Could he be the best pound-for-pound fighter alive? Many said yes. The precision, the power, the adaptability, it all pointed to a complete fighter at his peak. What made Inoue's performance even more impressive was his evolution. Early in his career, he was known mainly for knockout power. But against Fulton, he proved he could dominate with fundamentals. His jab was his weapon of choice, his footwork his armor. He showed patience, strategy, and composure, hallmarks of a true master. Fulton wasn't beaten by brute force. He was beaten by brilliance. The aftermath of the fight rippled through boxing's global community. Fans and pundits debated whether Fulton could have done anything differently. Some argued he should have used more lateral movement. Others believed no strategy could have saved him from Inoue's precision. "He's too fast, too powerful, too smart," one commentator said. "He makes elite fighters look ordinary." Inoue's victory wasn't just a win for Japan. It was a statement to the entire boxing world. For years, Western audiences had overlooked Asian fighters in the heavier divisions. But Inoue shattered that perception. His skill set transcended geography, weight, and era. He was now the undisputed king of 2 divisions, and his next move was the subject of endless speculation. Would he chase another unification? Move up again? The possibilities seemed limitless. Meanwhile, Fulton returned home to Philadelphia humbled but unbroken. "He's a great fighter," he said again in interviews. "He caught me with something I didn't see. I'll be back." Fans respected his courage. Traveling across the world to face someone like Inoue takes heart, and Fulton had plenty of it. But the result was clear. The monster had tamed the champion. In the days that followed, Japanese media celebrated the triumph with quiet pride. Footage of Inoue's knockout played on repeat. Children wore monster T-shirts. Newspapers called it a masterclass in precision. Inoue himself remained characteristically modest. "I respect Fulton," he said. "He's a great fighter. I just did what I had to do." For him, the work was never about ego, it was about perfection. The fight also marked a symbolic shift. Boxing had always been a sport divided by regions: America, Mexico, the UK, and the Philippines. But Inoue's rise blurred those boundaries. He became a global figure, respected by purists and casual fans alike. His performances spoke a universal language: excellence. And in that language, there was no need for translation. As time passed, fans began to wonder about a rematch. Could Fulton adjust? Could he find a way to neutralize Inoue's speed and timing? The question lingered, but the consensus leaned heavily in one direction. Most believed that even in a second meeting, the result would be the same. Inoue's combination of power, precision, and intelligence was simply too much. Yet, the beauty of boxing lies in its uncertainty. Styles make fights. Adjustments can change outcomes. Fulton remains a skilled, disciplined fighter capable of reinventing himself. But to defeat Inoue, it would take more than adjustments. It would take something extraordinary. The legacy of that night in Tokyo continues to resonate. It wasn't just about titles or belts. It was about witnessing mastery in motion, a fighter at the height of his powers dismantling another elite athlete with elegance and ferocity. It reminded the world why boxing, at its best, is poetry in violence. Every punch tells a story. Every feint, every movement, every knockout becomes a verse in the epic of human competition. For Naoya Inoue, the journey is far from over. The monster still hunts. He chases perfection, not opponents. And for Stephen Fulton, the fire still burns, the drive to return, to rebuild, to prove that defeat is not the end but a lesson. In the grand theater of boxing, these two men shared a night that will be remembered for generations. A night where one fighter sought validation and another sought immortality. And in the end, when the lights dimmed and the cheers faded, one truth remained clear: greatness speaks softly but strikes loudly. Naoya Inoue, the monster of Japan, had once again reminded the world that boxing's truest artistry lies not just in strength but in mastery.